Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to continue our note run on Aberration. And we're gonna cover roughly this area on the map. And we're gonna start here. So there's this metal track that's going kind of all over the place on this map, but it goes up and it curves into the ceiling. And it's at these coordinates, roughly. And using this as our starting point, if we stand kind of on the bottom, in between these legs, look towards the same direction that it kind of curves up, you should see that there's some purple crystals in the roof, ceiling, and ahead of us is kind of a little cliff mountain thing going on. A little rock. You want to land on top of that rock. You have this thing behind you. And if you look ahead now, you should have a view that looks like this. You have these weird Geonosian looking pillars over there. And then you have these purple crystals over there. I'll just give you the coordinates in case you're confused. And for the first note, just go towards that first pillar. And once you get to it, you should be right next to the water, so you can just go down to the water here. You look straight forward, you see there is kind of this little elevated shelf thing going on right next to the water around this little bay. You want to go towards that. So it is this thing. That's where it came from. And on the very tip here, we find Helena Note number 18 at 57.4 by 69.5. And then going back to our starting point, which is, again, at the coordinates, with the track behind us, looking at the lake. Again, our view, the same as before. This time, if you look to your right, you should see some very bright blue crystals that way in the distance. So get towards those. And the ones here on the left, in front of those, you have Lamprey, Dossier. 57.1, 73.7. And then, if we start at these blue crystals that are right here, these coordinates, if we have them behind us, we look towards the water, we turn right, you should see more blue crystals up on the cliff side. You want to walk in that direction. There should be some that are pretty close right there. So if you walk towards those, you should soon come across this boulder in the middle here, which has a bunch of these thin rock pillars surrounding it. Walk past this one. However, once you reach the basically underneath that little plateau that has all the blue crystals on them, once you kind of get under that, you'll come across another boulder. Right, so that's the previous one. The next one. And if you just continue walking alongside it, once you reach basically the end, you find another Helena Note right there. It is Helena Note number 17 at 54.3 by 74.2. Then, if you once again start here at the blue crystals with the previous note, these coordinates, if you once again look towards the water with the crystals behind you, you look right, see a bunch of blue crystals, and you want to fly towards the closest one of those. And then you can see that there is a shelf even further up with trees on them. And you want to get up on that shelf. get up on that shelf. Right here. So once you reach the shelf, you should have the crystals below you. And from there, just walk in and you should see a metal structure right there. So the crystals are down below. You walk in, you see this metal structure. Just cut the corner, walk around it. Behind all of these little trees. See, it is quite a big one. Metal structure, so it should be pretty easy to find. And you can see behind it here, we have a Diana log number 15. At 52.8 by 76.4. So we're once again starting here at the blue crystals. These coordinates. This time though, you can look towards the water. You have to go a little bit further, but look towards the water. Crystals behind you. Once again, look to the right and you'll see the blue crystals. Fly that direction, or go that direction. However, this time, past the first one, past the second two, or second one, and by just following this way, just following the cliff face or side, the blue crystals on top, you should eventually come to this big blue glowing tree. There are more blue trees, as you can kind of see up there and in the back, but this is the first one you'll encounter. You can also see there are some blue crystals on your left here, very close to you. So walk down to that blue tree. And then actually you want to walk past it, so just keep it on your left. Walk past. Ahead, you should see another blue tree and a purple crystal next to it, so just walk towards those. And you should get out into this clearing. And if you look to your left, there's this rock that kind of looks like a totem, kind of blows glue. There's other pointy rocks next to it. And at the bottom of that, you find Helena Note number 16. At 50.2 by 72.2. And then for the next 3 notes, we're going to do a bit of rapid fire because they're pretty close to each other. But we are now at this location, at these coordinates. It's pretty easy to find because there's a waterfall and a very short river going on right here. But if you are watching this in its entirety and you are wondering where we are at, then that is the tree that we found our last note. And you can see the blue crystals up on the cliff there. So we are really close. But when you get to this river and waterfall, at the end of the river here, if you just land, you should see some rocks that glow blue. At the end, right here. And right next to them, as you can see right there, there's a Meiyin Note. Meiyin Note number 18, 47.6 by 69.4. And then, the next one, you just go straight into the waterfall. And if you look at the waterfall, you want to go to the right riverbank. Be on the right side, below that bigger crystal. And if you go to the very end, as you can see right here, there's another note. This is the Glowtail dossier at 46.8 by 72.1. And then finally, you go up the waterfall like this. Up the waterfall. And you should have some blue crystals on your right. So go that way. And you should see that you can land right here. There's a little riverbank with the very, very straight water line. And you have your crystal on the right there. Just go around them. You have the crystals between you and the waterfall. And you should see some metal nodes. And among them, Diana Note or log number 14 at 47.3 by 72.4. And then, starting here at the end of the river again, at these coordinates, we have the short river right here. And you have the waterfall behind it. If you have the waterfall behind you, so if you stand facing away from it, there's a game trail going on this way. So we want to go that direction. And if we go eventually, not very far, but a little bit, you get to a little bit of a clearing and you can either turn left or right. But you actually want to look up. There's a tree, and also you can clearly see kind of a plateau up there. So you want to fly up to this place, or get up to this place. And you should see that there is a charge node up here. And if you go towards the charge node, there's also this rocky pillar behind it. And if you look right, we have a note. This is the Glowbug dossier at 48.5 by 66.7. And then for our next two notes, we're going to start here at the charge node. So it is at these coordinates right here. Another defining characteristic of this area are the three waterfalls. So at these coordinates right here, you should find three waterfalls. And the charge node is above the waterfall on the left. But we want to start here at the waterfall. No, sorry, at the charge node. And just kind of walk alongside the water here. So the water should be on your right. And you should just follow the water. You can follow the game trail, though. You don't need to walk right next to the water, but just have the water on your right. You can see there is an alien pillar right ahead, and we want to walk towards that. So just continue walking this way. Again, water should be on our right. You can follow the game trail. And then, once you reach this pillar, you can see that the water actually curves around to the right, leading down to the waterfall again. But once you reach the pillar, look left, and you should see some blue crystals. Walk towards those. But before you get to them, you should come across this dossier. Is the Bulbdog at 51.6 by 68.2. And then, from the Bulbdog dossier, if you look this way, which is south, you should see a purple crystal sticking out from the ceiling. Just walk towards that. And you should arrive at the lake, which I believe is the one we spent time on earlier in the episode. But if you walk towards that pillar, you get out to this clearing, you get out to the waterfront. Very nice. And once you kind of walk towards these, you reach these big pointy rocks, or kind of small pointy rocks, on your right. And if you look to your left, there's some blue crystal up there. And there's some rocks right here, and some mushrooms. And on the bottom of those, you have Diana log number 13. At 52.9 by 68.4. And then, for our final note of the day, we want to start here, in this location, at these coordinates. This is the lake that we essentially spent the entire episode going around. So it has 4 of these crystal pillars. And you want to go to this one. This is the one that is the furthest west. So you have 4 pillars, and you want to go to this one that's the furthest west. And from here, if you look towards the glowy trees, there's only one direction the glowy trees are. As you can see behind us, there is nothing. But if you're at this pillar, and you look towards the glowy trees, there should also be this big pillar right ahead that you can kind of walk around, and you want to get there. Land next to the big rocky pillar. These are the coordinates. So you'll have the crystal lake behind you. And then you want to walk left. So there should be a glowy tree visible on your left, and you want to walk that way. And then it should curve around. Just kind of walk around this big pillar. And you should see that there's a waterfall right here. Kind of walk towards that. There's a waterfall. There's glowy trees on your left. Glowy trees right ahead. Glowy trees on the right. Some weird alien-looking stuff up in the ceiling there. And there's also a purple crystal up ahead there. But the waterfall is probably the most characteristic of these things. And you can also see that if you're standing basically parallel to the waterfall, you look straight forward, there is this rock right here, which is very pointy. And on the bottom of that rock, we find Rockwell, number 17, at 52.7 by 65.2. And that was the final note for the day. So if you did find this one helpful, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.